Okay, Andrew, go ahead. You're up first.
Thanks, Melissa. Hi, Paul. Has this felt like a bit of a different style of T20 this tournament, with the ball sort of holding the edge in a lot of the venues? And has it led to a rethink of perhaps a few tactics along the way?
A little bit. I think we've, from most of the games, we've seen a lot more movement with the new ball, and obviously that's prolonged for longer periods than normal. There's been a fair bit of grass on the wickets, which means that the ball itself hasn't got tired as quickly. Generally in T20 cricket, you get through the first over or two of any kind of movement, and it goes pretty straight from then on. But yeah, you're right. There's been a bit more swing and sea movement during this tournament so far. But in many ways, I guess it's up to the batters to try to get that swing off the ball as quickly as possible. And we know sometimes, one ball into the stands, it can make that ball pretty tight pretty quickly. So, but it's we've also got bowlers who can utilise the swing as well. So it's made it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more difficult than usual for the batsman.
And just on this game specifically, tomorrow, obviously you weren't able to get on the field against Australia, sort of start to make amends maybe for what happened against Ireland. Is there a bit of sort of pent-up frustration now after a few days of not playing ahead of this game, and the guys are keen to get back on the field and try and put things right?
Yeah, I think the frustration came from not being able to play in such a big fixture. You look at the fixtures before the World Cup and see that you're playing Australia at the MCG, and that's mouthwatering fixtures. So it was disappointing not to play that and not being able to get out. But the boys have trained fantastically well over the past couple of days. There's a lot of excitement around because we know that if we get it right in the next 4 games, then we've got an opportunity to win a World Cup. And it's we're almost into the knockout stages now in terms of how we got to go about our cricket with must-win games. And this is why we play the game. This is the positions that you want to be in to an opportunity to win a World Cup. And tomorrow hopefully kickstarts our momentum and our campaign. We put a good performance in tomorrow, then it'll give us a lot of confidence for the last 3 games.
And just a last quick one, if I can, does the washout mean it's probably more likely that you'll be able to stick with the same quick bowlers again? I guess workloads are not a massive concern at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one good thing, I guess, is you can prepare how you need to prepare, and going into a fixture against New Zealand, who's in the history shows you that it's always been a tightly fought game, but the bowlers are fresh, they're raring to go. The batters have been able to do a lot of specific confidence work in the nets and understand how they can go about the task tomorrow night on what usually is a really good Brisbane wicket. It's a ground that we played the warm-up game in against Pakistan, and the boys enjoyed the surface there. So, we're really looking forward to tomorrow night.
Cheers, Paul. Appreciate it.
Anyone else from the room has a question for Paul before we move on to some of the ICC questions? Okay, no hands up right now. Okay, Paul, so one of the questions is, I don't know if you all would have seen the game between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe yesterday, where Sean Williams from Zimbabwe said the pitch played a little bit more spin. Is that something that England is going to reconsider heading into the game tomorrow?
No, we'll just have to we'll have to see how the conditions are, and every game that you turn up on, you don't want to go in with too many preconceived ideas. And the one kind of good thing about this team is if we get our aggression right with both bat and ball, then we generally go on and put teams under a serious amount of pressure. And so we'll just have to wait and see what the conditions are like, and then adjust accordingly to how they are. But generally, we haven't seen a hell of a lot of spin during this tournament. It's all the problems have come from movement on the ball with swing and bit of seam.
Funny that you should mention conditions, because it's been sunny for the most part of last week in Brisbane, and all of a sudden today it's a little bit overcast. Is there a concern seeing that England are coming in from a washout game versus Australia?
Well, it would be nice to get the full 40 overs in tomorrow night. So keep our fingers crossed that we get the right conditions to be able to do that. You want, in World Cups, you want to see sides competing against each other, the best sides competing against each other in an equal game. And so hopefully tomorrow night the rain stays away and we can manage to do that. Boys are very much looking forward to just getting to play some cricket and going to show the skills.
Which leads me to my next question. How is the mood in the camp, seeing that the last game was washed off? So you've had a little bit of an extra time, if you want to call it that, with no actual cricket being played, coming into a game versus New Zealand tomorrow. How is the morale on the team?
It's really good. The boys are upbeat. They're confident. They've been doing plenty of work in the nets. So we couldn't be more ready in terms of the amount of balls we've hit in the nets and the amount of balls we've bowled in training. So it's the guys just want to get out in the middle now. It's frustrating when you've got the rain around in Melbourne. It was almost like English conditions there. And it's nice to come up to Brisbane where it's a lot warmer, and all looking forward to getting the full 40 overs in tomorrow night.
Cheers. Rana, you have a question to ask? Rana Sajid, your hand is up.
My question is, how are you looking for final 4 teams in the T20 World Cup? Do you think Australia, England is final playing them on final 4 teams?
Can't hear it. Can you repeat that?
Your audio is really bad. You either need to not move as much to have static, or you need to speak up louder, please.
Okay. My question is, how are you looking the final 4 team in T20 World Cup?
Sorry, we can't hear it.
We can't hear the question.
My question is, how you are looking the final 4 teams in the T20 World Cup? Final 4 teams.
Which 4 teams do I think are going to be in the final?
Yeah.
Final. All I know, I would like England to be in that final 4 teams. There's been some good cricket played so far, and some exciting cricket, but those tables are pretty close at the moment, so it's impossible to say who's going to be in the final 4.
We'll swing back to Andrew. You can ask one more, and then we'll wrap up with Paul.
Thanks. Paul, just wanted to ask about Ben Stokes, and I know his record in international cricket doesn't need questioning in a sense, but his T20 position has not been quite as stable over his career, and he's not quite got going in this tournament. Do you think those two things are linked a little bit, that he's not quite had the same stability in T20 that perhaps he's had in Test cricket and before he retired ODI cricket? And do you expect him to find his groove in these next couple of games?
Yeah, of course. He's I guess the one person that you want in your team when the pressure is on is Ben Stokes. We all know what he's capable of. Not just match-winning innings, but match-winning innings under serious amounts of pressure. It's I know fine well that if it comes down to the crunch, that's you want a man like Ben Stokes walking out, and not just what he gives with the bats, the options with the ball, and the skill level he brings into the field as well. You got to remember he's an all-rounder, so it's not always just the runs that he makes, but it's it's everything else that he gives. And but I'm pretty confident there's an innings just around the corner. And now we're coming into the crucial part of the World Cup, and it's almost a knockout stage for us. It's must-win games, and you always see Ben come to the fore in those situations.
Thanks, Paul. Cheers.